Pittsburgh, Indy. We got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Mike Tomlin. And a week ago, I think you said that he's got to go. I want to paraphrase to be respectful, right?
Yeah, I think they need change in Pittsburgh.
I could see that, man, because when your best argument is that you're a high floor guy, and I'm a huge Tomlin fan. If he didn't finish, if he gets let go, he's going to coach somewhere else. Like Tomlin is a dog. I'd love to play for Tomlin, but when you're a high floor guy, it's hard to justify a sinkhole, man. You know, like this is bad. The floor is tremendously low, and he's finished seasons even when they didn't make the playoffs really well. Like in 2009, 6-2 they finished. In 2018, 7-2-1. In 19, 8-6. In 20, 11-0. Even if these teams were flawed, they finished strong, and they're
11-0 to finish 2020.
Remember that, and they lost to the Bills, I think, in the playoffs, or maybe they lost late in the season to the Bills on Thursday, and then got blanked in the playoffs. But you could tell they weren't going anywhere because they had to get the ball out all quick. It was Big Ben. It was hobbled Big Ben.
I fucking miss watching Big Ben.
But the point is, you're losing to rookie head coaches. You lost 3 of them by multiple scores, 6 in a row now to rookie head coaches. You punt down 2 scores, down 18 with 18 minutes to go. You punt. That was like insane. And, you know, like even the mind-boggling, like calling timeouts at the end of the game when you're out of it was great for people that had the over because it made Matt Gay kick another field goal because he couldn't seem to. But I think the biggest disappointment for me is this. He's a guy with a reputation for keeping that locker room together, right? And I'm starting to think it was because they had good players.
They had good veteran leadership.
And now they don't have good players. And the wide receiver room, I hate singling guys out because I was a player. And I'm sure if you went back in my career, you could find things that you could single me out for. But in this situation, it is inexcusable to give the effort that some of these guys have given over the last month. You know, George Pickens down there, here's an example. And I'm a big George Pickens fan now. But when Jaylen Warren is trying to score, it's early in the game. It's not a blowout. You need these points.
Low red.
In the low red, and you're not even blocking. And Jaylen Warren.
Well, he did a great job in the first half second of
and
the
then
block.
just stops.
He blasted the DB. They
finished the play. And on 4th down, you're lucky to get the ball in the end zone. What if you don't? And that's the question I always have. And it's like it's with Deontay Johnson, who against Cincinnati, I think they're in the red zone. And I don't know if the fumble stood. I can't remember. I've watched so much football over the last month. But the ball's on the ground.
We remember the play.
It's 0-0. I think it's 3rd and 2. And Warren puts the ball on the ground, and he doesn't even get out of his stance. And when the ball hits the ground, he doesn't even fucking move. And so, like, I know that players' first reactions when they're criticized on shit like this is say, oh, you don't understand, or you know, this, that, and third. Bullshit. Give effort. Act like you love football. Because to me, these guys don't love football. Like, if you love football, you don't need a reason to finish a play. I don't care if you're out of this thing.
Dad always said it ain't for everybody, and it's situations like this where it
ain't for these guys.
Yeah.
It ain't for these guys. And I'm a big fan. I think George – here's the thing. The reason I love George Pickens so much, because when I watched him in college, it looked like every rep mattered, like his life depended on it. Whether he was blocking, whether it was personal, and he was just trying to bully the guy in front of him, whether it was run after the catch. And don't let this stuff beat you down, man. I've been on bad teams. I've been in worse situations like this. Don't let this kill your spirit. Don't let this kill your effort. And for Deontay Johnson, you should know better. You know, and so in these games, like not having control of your players to where they're giving maximum effort, forget the mental errors. That's going to happen. It happens a lot with this team. And I get it. You're missing guys, Kazee, and that ejection, I disagreed on that. Nate's in the bathroom, but he's got to wrap up is what Nate said. I don't think there's any way physics dictate that you can't wrap up in that situation. It's the only way to take the ball off that guy. But then you lose him and Minka, and it's a defense that's got a lot of patchwork veterans to start. And when you watch the linebackers, I remember there's one play in the flat where you know the running back catches the ball and it looks like the backers are running in place. And it's just you're not set up for success defensively. You lose those guys. Minshew threw for 215 and it felt like 600 yards because they could not get off the field. And the run game, we said coming in, if you can run the ball, you're going to win this game. Indy was the team that ran the ball. Pittsburgh couldn't run the ball. Indy ran the ball for 13 attempts for 70 in the 4th quarter alone. That's like quit zone.
How about Steichen, coach of the year, or at least on the list?
There's a million guys that should be in this conversation right now. And this dude.
I wish you would have coached Anthony Richardson how to get the fuck down.
Yeah.
Because we could be talking about the Colts as a legitimate threat.
I don't know, though, because maybe this is – it's not the best thing that happened to Richardson because he's hurt, and hopefully this doesn't affect anything. But I think maybe the right guy for this team this year was Minshew, and it's working out. I don't know that there's a big difference, but the bottom line is they can win the division.
And 3 weeks ago, we were saying the Jaguars maybe could get the number 1 seed. Now we got a 3-way tie in the AFC South at 8-6.
It's wild out here.
Jaguars, Texans, Colts.
This league, bro. This league.
They got a great – hey, and how about all the great coaches in the AFC South?
How about it's so dark in Pittsburgh that Mike Tomlin is asking Mason Rudolph to guide his sleigh?
I know. That's not good.
Rudolph the
That's not
red-nosed
good.
reindeer.
Bring that little red nose out here, motherfucker.
Yeah. That's not good.
He comes walking out like
He just flies over my
But here's
Garrett's house.
here's the situation that I'm afraid of. So Tomlin gets fired, and then he applies for the Raiders job.
That's great. And you know who should apply for the Pittsburgh job? Brian
Pierce.
Flores.
Antonio Pierce.
Well, AP should
But
just,
that's what I'm saying.
While
we
they're
want,
interviewing-
AP.
While
we
they're
want
interviewing for his
AP. We
job.
want AP
I still want
to get
AP.
that job.
I'd still take
but
AP
like,
over
After
that.
Pete.
You take AP over
You have
Tomlin?
to take AP?
You would take AP over Tomlin?
Yeah. Right now I would.
Ooh.
Right now I would.
And
You got to be like half the thing that goes in the Steelers' favor is their tradition and the culture they built, and that culture is crumbling. And so when the culture goes, like, what's separating them? Do you see them doing a lot of dynamic things from a decision-making process from the head coach down? Like, the best thing he did all year was fire Matt Canada, but it took way too long.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think, like, the way that they have designed their game plans have been flawed. And, you know, like, the head coach has to answer for that. I'm not saying to fire Mike Tomlin. I don't know the answer to that. I don't like firing guys unless I'm positive about it. Like, Brandon Staley, I got on the horn 2 months ago and was like, hey, this guy's got to go. Okay? But Mike Tomlin deserves respect. He doesn't deserve to get fired 3 weeks left in the season. That's why I don't want to say, hey, Mike Tomlin should get fired. Let's see how the season ends up. But if they let him go, how about a guy like Brian Flores who's been in the building before and understands how to build a culture? Because that's what you don't want to lose if you're the Steelers. You know, and he's been in that situation.
And
You know?
unlike Brandon Staley, Mike Tomlin's at least taking accountability. He says that we're not a good football team right now and that it's on
Love the
him
guy.
and it starts with him. Like, that's leadership, whatever you want to say.
Utmost respect for the guy. But as he knows, production business, right?
Yeah.
And Mike Tomlin still, but I was saying B Flow might be a good option there.